Hello everyone, it's Elizabeth, aka Poetry in Motion, and welcome back to my midweek roundup, a video series where every Wednesday I talk about last week's chapter of the Clan Jarin series, read your comments, and answer your questions. This week's chapter was Boundaries on the Journey On, and I just realized that almost all of the chapters, almost all of the one-shots on the Journey On have had either S or B as their titles, and that's just funny to me. But it's a direct follow-up from last week, which is Braids. It felt really important to me to directly follow up on that because it's a lot. Braids, a lot went down, and I feel like they would definitely have to talk about it afterwards. You know, Din is really... he's somebody that needs to work through stuff like that. You know, he's not used to big shows of affection, so when that happened, he was like, how do I do this? So it was really important for me to show Din and Omera kind of working through, okay, we've been doing this kind of dance for a couple months now. Let's get serious. Let's figure out where your boundaries are, and let's work with it. So that was really important for me to write. Okay, how about let's get into some comments. Sheena. Oh, I'm not crying, you're crying. Well, I've said this before, Sheena, but what if we're both crying? Think about that. Omera is so sweet and gentle to him, and it makes my heart so happy. Question for you. What's going on in between one-shots? I get the basic gist that they're doing things like picking up supplies and taking care of the kids, but why are they moving to the planets they're going to? How have Winta and the Little Green Bean been dealing with the constant moving? Stuff like that. Oh, and I almost forgot the obligatory key smash. I swear I've been rehearsing this. Kafa kasa kafend lasent kaja kaja linauga jidinagakba. Okay, so first of all, may I offer some constructive criticism on your key smash? Maybe put a couple more vowels in there if you can. But what's going on between one-shots is basically the reason that they're moving so much, the reason that they're following this kind of random path through the Outer Rim is because they're trying to just completely throw off, you know, the Imperials, and even though Din doesn't know that he's still alive, they're trying to throw off, you know, Moff Gideon. They're trying to throw him off their trail. So they're trying to just go to the most random places they can think of, you know, try not to draw suspicion wherever they are, and basically just, you know, evasive maneuvers, basically, is what's going on. And as to Winta and Baby Yoda dealing with all the moving around, that's actually something that's going to be dealt with in Sanctuary, so I'm also going to probably be still uploading some one-shots to the Journey On as well during this whole process, you know, in case little things come up. So yeah, that's going to be expanded on. Thank you for bringing that up. Kit 1 on the Journey On. Okay, wow, with 1, 2, 3, 4, I think that's 6 exclamation points. So much tenderness, understanding, and love. This was just so amazing. I can't wait for Sanctuary. I love Saturdays now. Aw, thank you. Everything she did for Din to reassure him. You make them so real, so detailed. Gah, sigh. Okay. One of the best compliments you can get as a writer is a comment. But one of the even better compliments is when somebody just comments just noises. I love it. Yeah, I think it's really interesting how Omera interacts with Din, right? I think that that's really the whole basis of literally this whole series has been exploring that, you know. Din's used to having to kind of bottle things up, like, I just had this feeling and I don't know what to do with it. I guess I'll bottle it up and someday I'll die, you know? But he's not used to having somebody kind of tease that out of him. Go, okay, why didn't you want this? Why did me doing this bother you? So But at the same time, Omera knows that while he's not necessarily, some kind of blushing flower, she also knows that it still has to be, handled a little bit delicately. Like I put it in, I think how I put it was tiptoeing around landmines. So she wants to kind of gently handle it, but at the same time, she knows that Din has to be direct. So she has to be really tender with it. And I think that that's really the basis of their relationship. nikibogwater says, this chapter is so soft you could fall asleep on it. Thank you. Also, everybody, she drew more. nikibogwater drew more based on In the Aftermath and The Journey On. And y'all should go look at it. I'll put her link in the description as well, but you guys gotta go look at it. She's just incredible, and I love her. Paperfire says, my heart with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heart emojis. And yeah, mine too. Azurtyrobaz says, such a sweet chapter to end the story. Looking forward to Sanctuary. Thank you. Me too, trust me. RPCV Liz says, these one-shots were amazing. Thank you for giving us some brief glimpses of this family coming together, with a smiley face. Will we find out why Din doesn't like to be touched behind his shoulders? I'm looking forward to reading Sanctuary. I think we will. I think that might be a little something that we're going to talk about in Sanctuary a little bit later. Yeah, we're definitely going to explore that. One of I think it was Ibsen that said that if you have a gun on stage, you have to fire it in the second act. If you show a gun on stage in the first act, you have to fire it in the second act. So if I put something in a story here, if I introduce something, that means that there is going to be some resolution to it. You can bet that I put that detail of Din not liking his back touched in there for a reason. And we'll get to that reason a few chapters into Sanctuary. Pirate Girl Jack says, thank you. You're welcome. Nice, sweet, to the point. I like it. Calico, or Calico321, says, lovely. The way she took the time to move step by step to work on his boundaries and then reassured him at the end. Always a pleasure. That was actually the first part that I wrote for this one shot. I didn't write that introduction. First, I wrote the meat of it. I wrote the scene itself where they're interacting. That's the part that I wrote first, and that's the part that I wanted to get the most right. I wanted to do the most justice to that action. And again, that just speaks to Omera's very basic she doesn't have a basic personality, but her core personality is a very nurturing, very understanding character. And so she knows, okay, let's work from the hands to the wrists to the arm to the shoulder. Let's, work our way up. We'll work our way down. We'll work on this, It's very important to me that her character is still based in that gentleness, even though she does, want things, obviously. Now, I had a question from nikibogwater over on Tumblr, and let me just pull it up. Let's see. It was about my writing habits and what puts me into a creative space. So I'm one of those people where I have to have things a certain way. I have autism, and I thrive on schedules, and I thrive on organization, and I thrive on it has to be the right way, So when I'm going into kind of a writing phase, I'll open up my windows or I'll go outside. Fresh air is always a must for me when I'm writing. I always handwrite my drafts, which is kind of hard because I also have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which causes a lot of joint pain. So hand drafting everything, while it is the most effective tool that I have in my little writing arsenal, while it is really effective for me, it's hard because then I have to take breaks and I have to put hot packs on my wrist, but it's so worth it because I find that when I'm using my computer, I end up doing a lot of editing and staring at just a blank document. I'm just staring at it going, and go, hoping that I can just project the story onto it. So when I, manhandle the words, I'm like, I can just scribble it out. I can, even if I scribble out an entire paragraph, it's not a blank page anymore. It's still got it there. So you've still got your tools and everything that you can, pick something out and work with it. Quiet usually works for me. When I'm interrupted, it doesn't really help things. Quiet, or I'll put on my headphones and have like a YouTube video that I've seen a million times over playing in the background to kind of give me some white noise. Or while I was writing in the aftermath, I actually put together a little playlist of songs that I liked for the story that I compiled. And if I wanted to, while I was preparing the space, I would listen to it, to kind of get into the Mandalorian and into that zone. I can share that with you guys if you want. I'll probably share it over on Tumblr. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, and above all, I have to be dressed. I'm not very good at writing in my pajamas. If I'm in my pajamas, I'm sleeping, I don't get a whole lot of writing done past 9 o'clock in the evening because by then I'm just tired and I'm ready for bed, you know what I mean? And my best writing time happens between, I'd say, like 1 and 5. 1 and 5, that's that's my sweet spot. That's where I go, all right, let's smash this out, you know what I mean? And it's kind of weird to have all of those requirements, so to speak, but I've noticed that when I follow those kind of parameters around my writing space, that I get a lot more done. It's a lot more effective writing. It's not just, spitting words onto a page. It's actually effective writing. So yeah, that's a peek into my little routine. I think we're good for today, but Sanctuary's coming out this Saturday. It's happening. It's happening. It's finally here. I've been planning and writing this for months. I've been planning and writing this since before In the Aftermath even ended, and now it's here, and oh my god, I can't wait for you all to read it. It's gonna be so good. Oh my, okay, I can't talk about it anymore or else I will start screaming. As always, my ask box on Tumblr is open, my DMs on Twitter are open, tweet at me, tumble at me, bro. Comment your questions and your comments, obviously, on the uploads over on the Journey On, but know that I will be starting Sanctuary on Saturday at 4 o'clock, okay? Alright, see you guys there.